See, primitive types as we know, character type, byte, short, int, long, double, float, boolean. String has two versions, one is immutable string, other one is mutable string. So using normal string class, we make only immutable strings. By using string builder or string buffer, we can make mutable string objects. So as I told, there are two versions of string. One is what? Immutable. Okay, strings can be immutable by default, but suppose you want to make mutable strings. So in such cases, you have to use string buffer or string builder. So using these, you can actually make mutable strings. These two are going to be mutable. Mutability meaning is you can change the content of the given string. Okay, so using, today we are going to look into the IO part. So using the scanner class, we can read from keyboard. To write onto monitor, we use system.out.println. Okay, using system.in also you can read, but you can read just 1 byte of data. You have a read method, you can read 1 byte of data. But suppose you have to read integers, sometimes you have to read characters, sometimes you have to read string, then how do you read all those? So for that, we have a class called a scanner class. With the help of that, we can do. This is a predefined class. Using scanner class, we read data from the keyboard. Okay, so for that we use here scanner class. Scanner class is not limited only to keyboard. Even from the input file also it can read. But we are going to use scanner for reading data from keyboard. Okay, so to read data from keyboard, we use the scanner class. Scanner has different methods like next int, next line, okay, similarly next float. Like that we have predefined methods. With the help of that, we can read data from the keyboard. Not only from keyboard as I told, you can even read from the file. Data can be read from file. But here I am going to show you scanner class to read data from the keyboard. So primitive data, first of all, we read from the keyboard using scanner class. Scanner class is part of actually the package java.util. It's part of java.util. So from there, by using the package, here we can instantiate a scanner object. Then we can invoke different methods to read different data. So it is defined in the java.util. So here using scanner class, we read data. So here I create, okay, already we have used scanner, but again we'll be using it. Go with the new Java project. So it is scanner demonstration. So scanner demonstration, I finish it. So I close all these. Now it is scanner demonstration. So here I am going to use scanner along with the date also. There is a predefined class called as date, which is part of java.util. To represent dates, we use date class, which is part of java.util. Okay. Similarly, one more class also we use, it's called as simple date format. It's part of actually java.text. It's part of java text. In that package, it's available. Using simple date format, you can format the given date. Okay, we are going to discuss about scanner class. We discuss about date. We discuss about simple date format. Similarly, we can use scanner class to read here some integer data. Okay, so here you have a date class which is part of java.util, which can give you current date and time, or you can actually input your own date and time. You can give your own date and time, or what you can do, you can get the current date and time. When you instantiate, you can get current date and time with the date class. Date class is a predefined class which is part of java.util. Now let me here create some program for that. So in this, I try to make some new class. The class name is student data. The class name is here student data, just I make student. This contains here a main method because that is going to be entry point for this program. So therefore it is containing here a main method. Just I finish. Now when you look at student, what data we can have in the student? Normally student has some name, some ID, followed by the student may be having various subjects. You need to get result. So that we are going to do in this. Now here we import first of all java.util.star. So both date as well as here the scanner are available for us. Similarly, we use here import java. Then it is here text. So these two I am going to use because in these different packages we have different classes. Okay, so first thing I declare here a variable called str name. It is a student name, but I prefix it as str. Str name is initially empty string. I have like this. Next thing here, I want to go with date of birth. Date followed by here this is going to be dt. So this is here dob. I put like this. dt dob I make it. It is date of birth. I create like this. It's a date. Now next thing here, one more date I create here. Date. It is dt program start time. I write like this. This equal to here I write it as new date. This way I am going to make it. Here date dt program start time is new date. Like this I create here a new date object. On the top I have two variables. One is str name, other one is dt dob. One more is here dt program start time. So this is going to be a date object I created here. This contains here current date and time. It's going to be containing current date and time because I use new date, so it's going to be initializing with the current date and time. So when your program is starting at that time, what is the date and time? The same is going to be in this. Fine. So next thing, what I want to do, I want to create here one simple date format class. Simple date format. To format the dates we use it. Simple date format, I write it as SFD. This equal to here new simple date format. Why it is? So this is here new simple date format. I write like this. It's going to be here new simple date format. Here I require in what format I should read data. So therefore I enter this way. First of all I take here /dd then /yyyy, like this I take. So it is going to be /ddyyy. In this format the date should be printed, or it should actually, whenever you input data, it can be parsing. So parsing meaning is whatever string you enter for date, that you can convert into date object. Similarly, here it can print even the existing data with the help of this format. I have created simple date format because here date is not formatted one. If you try to print it, you get very big number. So very big string you get. But that I don't require. I want to show only in /ddyyy notation. So therefore I make this format. Time component I don't need now. So therefore I just want to enter data in the MMDD format. Fine. Now here, next thing is, I want to print now. So when exactly the program is started, I would like to print. So therefore here I write this way. System dot then write out dot println. Here write the program started at. We write like this. Program started at, followed by here I can write using the format feature. So here I have a simple date format. I write therefore sfd dot format. I can format now the date object here. So what object exactly that is? It is a dt program start time. This can be formatted and can be shown. I am formatting it, I am giving the output there. So here I have a new date, but I want to show in the MMDDYY format. Therefore, I am making the simple date format like this. So simple date format accepts certain, format characters, like MM means for what? 2-digit month, DD stands for 2-digit date, YYY stands for actually 4-digit year. So like this, you have certain patterns. With the help of those patterns, you can actually format. Here this is formatting. It's going to be printing it. Now here next thing is, I want to go with the subject 1. I write like this, int M1. Okay. Similarly, I write M2. One more is going to be int M3. Like this, I make here three different sets of data. Mark 1, Mark 2 and Mark 3. I make these three things. Now here, I would like to go with a result. Therefore, I write here string result equal to, it is here empty. Like this, I make empty string. Result is now, it is nothing actually. You don't have any data in that. Like this, I made here few variables. Now I need to input data. From keyboard, I need to input data. So how to input data? Here see. First of all, I require here a input mechanism. So using that input mechanism, I can input. Therefore, I require here scanner class. Scanner object scan equal to, it is here new scanner. But from where it has to scan? From the keyboard. Therefore, put this as system.in. We make this as system.in. We are now referring the keyboard. So object scan is referring keyboard here. Now go with the try block here. Okay. Then similarly catch exception ex we put. So this may throw some kind of exception. Suppose you don't have try catch block, what happens? Let us see. After that we try to put that. So scanner object we created. Now we need to read name, we need to read date of birth, we need to enter mark 1, mark 2, mark 3. Based on that we need to give the result. So now here let us try to do this way. System dot out dot println. Here let us print. Please enter student name. Make like this. Here we should enter student name. Now str name, this is equal to, from where we read from keyboard. Therefore, we must use here now object scan, then dot next line. We need to go with the next line here. So using next line, we can read next set of data. So str name, it's going to read data from that. Next thing is, we need to read date of birth. Okay, next write here system dot, then write here out dot println, we write it as please enter date of birth in DD, then YYY notation. So we should enter date of birth in such notation. So next thing is we need to read now data for that. But if you simply read, that's not enough. We need to even convert it. Okay. So first of all, here I want to read it. At the same time, I want to convert. Therefore, I write this way. It is dt dob, this equal to whatever string is there that we need to convert. So take here sfd dot format, parse. We use here parse. So string, from where this is coming, it is coming from the scanner object. Object scan, then dot, it's going to be next line. We read like this data, then after that we parse it. Okay, so this is going to be giving exception. Therefore, we need to write on the top try catch block. Otherwise, it can't work. Such exceptions are called as actually here typed exceptions. These are called as typed exceptions or checked exceptions, we say. This is called as a checked exception, and you have unchecked exception. So this is what exactly a checked exception. But when you go with the next line, there is no exception. Reason, there is a possibility of getting data in the improper manner. So that's why it throws here, it throws exception. Therefore, try to put now in the try catch block. Go with this, then try to put here a try catch block. Here put try. Okay, then here we close it, then write catch, then exception ex. So using this try catch block, we can handle runtime errors. Here write system dot out dot println. So what we write ex dot, you can go with toString. If there is any error, it can show us that error. Fine. Now the errors disappeared. There is no error because we are catching it in the proper manner. Next thing is what we need to read subject 1 marks right here. Copy same thing but modify inside that. Please enter subject 1 marks. Subject 1 marks. Followed by here we need to read it. Now M1 equal to, what we should do, we should read again using object scan. But this time it's not next line, we need to use something else here. Object scan dot followed by here next int. We should use here next int. We need to read now integer data. So as you come down, you find it. It's what next int. Next integer data we read here. But we don't require here 2 times, just 1 time it's required. Now similarly, we can take this and try to paste here twice because we require here 2 times. Subject 2 and here also it is subject 3 and this is here M2 and this is here M3. Like this we read data. We are going to read data like this. So we have here total 3 subjects, date of birth and student name we got. Now let us try to find out the result. We need to find out here result. So for finding out result, we need to use if condition, or we can use a conditional operator. That is question mark operator we use. Therefore write like this: result equal to, now we need to compare in each and every subject the number of marks. Write like this: M1 greater than or equal to 36 or say 40, followed by logical AND operator, then M2 greater than or equal to 40. Again we use AND, then M3 greater than or equal to 40. So in such cases, what happens? This is actually an expression. Here we have a Boolean expression. This may return a true value or false value. In each and every subject, when marks are 40 or above 40, in such cases that returns a true value, otherwise returns a false value. Therefore write here pass. If everything is correct, this is going to be pass. Else here it is what? Fail, we put like this. So this way we are calculating here, we are calculating the result. Okay, so here what happens? We create this way. This may be returning here a pass value or a fail value. So why it is giving error? Result correct. So the bracket got deleted there. Now fine. It is returning either pass value or fail value. So next thing is we need to here print all the day, whatever we have input we need to print now. So for printing you can do like this. System, here first write system dot out dot println the student information is, like this we put it. Now we try to print student information, followed by here I put a slash n, then I want to go with some underline. I put some underline like this. Okay, now after underline here, it should be printing the required data. So first thing is system dot, then out dot println. First thing is name. I put like here name, then followed by plus, this is here str name I write. Okay, similarly I go with date of birth. This is here DOB. But date of birth we have input into here DTDOB, but we need to format and we need to show here. Okay, suppose if you put DTDOB, then dot toString, you can put like toString. So with that also you can print it. You can use toString here, but you get actually very big name in such cases. Here I can say unformatted DOB. It is what? Unformatted DOB. So next step I take this and try to show you the formatted DOB. Here I want to write this as formatted DOB. So therefore here I can do this way. DTDOB is going to be some data. Now using SFD, then dot, I can use here format. In this I write DTDOB. So put here DTDOB. Like this, now formatted date of birth we can get. Similarly, we take it, then try to print here mark 1. So we should write here this one M1. Okay, similarly, we take it, then try to go with M2. This is M2 and we put here M2. The next one is M3. This is mark 3 and we put here M3. Followed by here we require now result. In the place of mark 1, I put this as result. Okay, so here in the place of M1, we put result. So like this, we are going to write it. So with this program, we are entering marks, then after that we are calculating the result, we are finding out result, then we are giving output. So if you break like this into various parts, that is going to be really nice. So here first of all on the top, I can write here declarations. Okay, this is what now? Data input. This part, here it is result calculation. And this is what here output. So student data output. So like this, if you put comments, somebody is going through your code, they can easily understand. Otherwise, if you mix them up, it's going to be a problem for them. Sufficient spaces you need to leave in between the lines. So therefore, easily our eye can catch, otherwise it gets confused. So therefore, try to provide sufficient space in between the lines. And try to put comments from time to time. It's very, very important. I commented here declarations, then followed by, I have typed it as here data input. The next thing is here result calculation, student output. Like this we have written a small program, so using which we are going to calculate the result. Then we even enter date time. So date we enter, it's getting converted into date object. Okay, the other one is what? We are taking here current date and time with the help of the new date. Here DT program start time is going to be getting data from the system. But whereas DT DOB, we are going to enter into that. Because this is the program start date and time, whereas DT DOB is what exactly? We enter that data. So further we require here some simple date format. With the help of that, you can do it. What I created here, simple date format SFD equal to new simple date format MMDDYYY, like this. So this is exactly what? It is a object SFD. Using that you can print existing date. At the same time you can convert a string into date object with the help of simple date format. There are two methods associated with that. First one is here format. You can use format. Similarly, here other one is what? Parse. You can even parse here. See, sfd.parse. So you can parse, that means a string can be converted to date. At the same time, whatever date you have, you can format and print like a string. So these two are important methods as far as the simple date format is concerned. It is part of actually java.text. And here one more class is important class, scanner class is available for us. So using scanner class, you create a scanner object. Then with that, we read data from keyboard. It's not limited to only keyboard, but here we are referring it with the keyboard. New scanner followed by, you need to have here some stream name. So stream is what here? System.in. From keyboard we get data. Now in this. So we enter name, then we enter here subject 1 marks, subject 2 marks, subject 3 marks. Then after that we calculate result. Ultimately we display the result. Now let me run this. So in the bottom you can see the output is coming in the output window. We need to enter some student name. I enter it as Suresh. Followed by, I should enter here the date of birth in MMDDYYY notation. Okay, so it may be probably something like this. I may enter 10, then followed by, so 10th is going to be month, then day, probably it may be say some 25, then followed by here I need to enter year. I may write something like 1993. So like this I can enter. Please enter date of birth in MMDDYYY notation. Like this I enter it. Now I press enter key. It is asking for subject marks. I enter some 56. Next I enter here some 99. So next I am going to enter here say some 90 marks. So with this it should be calculating result for us. Press enter key. It says it is Suresh. Unformatted DOB is what it shows exactly. It shows here October 25th. Like this you get full name. But whenever you go for formatted date DOB, it's giving you 10/25/1993. It's giving you here 10/25/1993. Like this shown for you. So here it's unformatted. Simply when you use here toString, on the top you see where we are printing it in the code, you come to this point and see here, you have here unformatted. So when we take the date and try to print as a string, this is unformatted, but this is what exactly formatted. So when it's formatted, you get exactly the day, the month, the day and year. Like this, it's printing for you. So even on the top also, you get program started at 7/27/2016. It's giving such information. Because on the top also, I am going with the formatted one. sft.format dt program start time. Okay, at what time the program started, it's showing there 7/27/2016. So this is what exactly, again month, the day, year. Like this, it's printing. So here you get information like this. Name is Suresh. Unformatted DOB is Monday, October 25th, IST 1993. It's showing like this. Midnight it is. Similarly, it's giving you here 10/25/1993. Like this is formatted data and this is unformatted data. Like this you get. Similarly, on what day you born, even that can be found out. On what day exactly you are born, you can find out. So for that, here we need to use some other format object. Here you cannot do, but you need to use some another simple date format. Here write simple date format followed by here new SFD. I put like this. This equal to here I use format is not same, but extra I am going to add here something like here EEE. 4 times when I use E, this can print character day of the week. I am using here 4 times EEE. With that I would like to print it. So while printing here, instead of SFD, I put here new SFD. With that I would like to print it. Now what difference you get? See, I just clear it. After that, once again I run it. So please enter name. This time I enter again Suresh. Followed by, I want to enter date in the MMDDYYY notation. So therefore I enter 10th month, then followed by 25th, then this is 1992 I enter. Followed by subject 1 marks, 99 I enter. Then this time 56 I enter. So this time I enter only 12 marks. Result should be fail in such cases. Press enter key. Now when you go with this, unformatted date is going to be DOB. Sunday it is October 25th, like this is giving. But when you go with the formatted date, it is what Sunday 10/25/1992, like this it's giving. So the weekday we are getting, when we are using here 3 times EEE, it's giving the full weekday. You're getting full weekday in such cases. So these are formatting strings available for the simple date format. With the help of that, in whatever manner you would like to format, you can format the date. There are certain format strings available. With the help of that you can do. So when you use here the EEE like this, it means here it is going to be entire weekday. Okay, it's going to be weekday like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, full name is going to be coming. Suppose you are using here MM 4 times, it's going to be different. Suppose you put here EEE followed by, you may write like this here MMM. It's going to give you full name of the month. It's going to give you full name of the month. Once again, see, when you put here, 4 times MMM, it gives you full name for us of the given month. Now try to run this. enter student name, it's here Suresh. Like this you can have here. So we need to now enter date of birth in MMDD YYY notation. Again I enter 10, then 25, followed by 1992. So then here I enter 56, then 99, other one is 56, again I enter, it shows this way. You can see here formatted DOB is what? Sunday, October 10/25/1992. Like this it's giving. The result is exactly what? Pass for us. Result is pass. So this way you can use here simple date format object as well as date. So date is going to give you current date and time, whereas simple date format is going to give you here the formatted date for you. It can give you formatted date. So with the help of the simple date format, you can format the given date, or else you can parse the given string into date. Suppose you have a string here. What is happening? You come to this point, we enter date in the date we are going to enter in the MMDD YYY notation. So in what format I entered? I entered like 10/25/1992. So this is going to be a string. This string is getting converted to here a date with the help of the parse. Parse is actually a method with the help of that the given string can be converted to date and time. Similarly, date and time can be converted to string with the help of the format method. So therefore, this is very, very useful for us. So the simple date format as well as date are going to be useful. These two are defined within the system.java.util package. In the java.util package, these are defined. Sorry, in the java.util is having here date class and other one is scanner class. Simple date format is part of actually java.text package. So scanner also we are using here. To input data from keyboard we use the scanner class. Whereas the date we are using from the util to manipulate the date. Now similarly, suppose you want to go with the, suppose you want to here deal with formatted date. So you need to use here simple date format. It's part of the text java.text package. So with that you can be manipulating here. So in this program we have seen one is what? Date class, the other one is simple date format, one more is what here? Scanner class. So using scanner class you can input different type of data, even file you can give as input, file date also can be read with the help of the scanner class. So this program is basically meant for inputting data using scanner object. Similarly, we input even date data. Similarly, we pick the system date. System date we are picking into DT program start time. But as far as DT DOB is concerned, into this we input data. With the help of the scanner object we input, but whatever data we input is going to be the string format that has to be converted into date format. So we use their date format class, simple date format class. With the help of that we convert the string into here date object. So and ultimately we are printing. And one more thing here, what we do using a question mark operator or conditional operator, we are trying to we are finding the result. Whether result is pass or fail, we find with the help of the conditional operator. A conditional operator has three arguments: first argument, second and third argument. So from here to here, this can be called as first argument, and pass is second argument, fail is third argument. So like this, it is actually returning a pass or fail depending on the truth value of the condition there. In M1, M2, M3, in every subject, if marks are more than 40, it returns a true value, otherwise it returns a false value. So like this here, we have written a program using which we are finding out the result. Okay, at the same time, we are inputting different type of data. String we are inputting. To input string data, we use like next line. Okay, to input integer data, we use here next int. But to input date time data, first of all we read the string, then after that we convert that into date with the help of the parse method of the simple date format. So using simple date format object, we are parsing it into date time. So here simple date format is parsing the given string into date and time for us. Similarly, next int is converting whatever we enter in the keyboard into integer. Okay, next int is converting into integer. In the case of next line, straight away it can read a line and assign to the str name. So therefore, these are actually different ways of inputting data. And at the same time, here certain methods are checked exceptions. They I mean here you need to handle exceptions. So you have a checked exception. Here see, if you don't put try catch block, this may this may give a problem for us. If it's not in the proper date format, it's going to be error. Once again let us run, try to enter some improper data. What happens, see with that. Now I enter student name, I enter it as Suresh. Now let me enter date and time here. I try to enter some 50 date followed by enter 25. Then I put here something like 1998. It is nothing but wrong actually. So without crashing system, it is going into this one. Without crashing system, it's coming into this part. Suppose if you don't put try catch block, what happens? It can be, it's not going to accept that. But writing like this is wrong. Further you need to validate it. Whatever you enter, you need to further validate. The month component must be up to 12 and the the day component must be up to how much? It can be up to only 31. Then similarly, you need to even validate it. But what happens if you enter some improper data? It will not crash. Now once again see, I show you how it can be improper data. Now run this. It's not validating, but when you try to enter improper data, it gives error. Now come to this point here, then try to enter here something like AB I enter, followed by 10 I enter, then here I enter 1995. So this AB can't be converted now because AB is not a number. It says here exception. Unparsable data you are getting here. AB can't be converted to number. So this is called as an exception. In the case of digits numbers, there is no problem. But whenever you have like this, some alphabets or comma, some other non-digits, when such characters are coming, they cannot be parsed. So what it says here, unparsable date. It's saying that the date can't be parsed here. You can't convert date into here, date object. So to handle such exceptions, we require here try catch blocks. So we are getting this with the help of the try catch block here. If there is no try catch block, you cannot get that. Let me comment here what happens, see. Now I clear this one, then again I try to run this. Okay, I enter again the name as Suresh here, followed by I enter here some date time. I enter AB, followed by some 10, then 1993 I enter, I press enter key. You cannot see any result. It's not proceeding. So program has ended there. It's not further proceeding, but not showing any error. What happened in the system? You cannot get. But when you put here, when you remove the comment, what is happening in the system you can understand. So this is called as exception. Exceptions are nothing but runtime errors. When program is getting executed, at that time you find error, that is called as exception. So exceptions can be like this. When you try to input, when you don't put proper data, it can be exception because it can't convert AB into number. It can be one problem. You may try to divide a number with 0. It's nothing but exception. Similarly, you're trying to get connected to internet, but there is no, you're trying to send an email, there is no internet connection. So it's nothing but exception. Similarly, you're trying to write something on the disk. At that time, you don't have enough space on the disk. It's nothing but exception. So like this, you can get actually runtime errors. So you need to catch runtime errors, and this is what here it is throwing exception. So this is called as a checked exception. Here this is called as checked exception because this may while parsing this may get error. So that's why it is called as here checked exception. It says here throws parse exception. You can see there java.text.dateformat.parse. It may throw exception there. It may throw what type of exception? Parse exception. It cannot parse actually the given string into proper format. So the given string into proper date it can't convert, because of that it gives error. But now when you run here, you can get exactly the problem. Put it as Suresh, then followed by here, let us enter AB, followed by 90, I enter then 1, 2, 3, 4, something like this I enter. It says unparsable date, AB can't be converted, therefore it's giving here error. This is called as exception. And this is what type of exception? It's a, checked exception. Exceptions can be checked or they can be unchecked. When a method is throwing some exception, definitely the method should be handled with the help of the try catch block. So such exceptions are called as checked exceptions. But sometimes what happens? They don't throw any exception. Such things are called as actually unchecked exceptions. Exception can take place, but that is not unchecked. You can actually foresee what type of problem it can face. In such cases, you may throw exception. So probably this can give you error, try to handle, you can advise the developers. You can advise developers regarding some exceptions. So if you warn them with the help of the checked exception, they can take proper care. Otherwise, if you don't warn them, suppose you write some class, the class is having some input mechanism. Okay, you are trying to input some data. At that time, you are converting data from one format to another format. Always data may not be properly formatted. When you give input data if you don't give proper input data, it can't be formatted. So therefore, you need to foresee that the end user is going to enter some improper data. It must be handled properly. You need to think about and you need to write. So in such cases, it is going to be called as typed exception. So checked exception. We call it as actually checked exception because the developer thought about the exception and included with the help of the throws exception with the method. If you look at this here, with the method itself you have what it says. If you go with the parse, it says here throws parse exception. This method is throwing here some exception because you may not enter sometimes digits, you may enter some alphabets. In such cases, it can't convert. So that's why it is saying here it throws exception. So this is called as here parse exception with the help of here date class, with the help of simple date format, and with the help of the scanner class we have written this program. So this program is here ultimately calculating for us result, and in this process we read data from the keyboard using scanner object. Using scanner object we do, and ultimately it's showing like this. So this is called as here we can call this as a simple program. With this we are actually finding the result, in which we are using here a scanner class, a simple date format, then similarly date we are using. Okay, here this is it's actually exceptions we are handling here. Typed exceptions we handle with the help of the checked exceptions we handle with the help of the try catch block. We use try catch with the help of that we do this. Suresh, any questions on this?
No, sir. I'm fine.
Okay. Now let me show you one more program. In that, I try to show you a digital clock. It's going to be showing the clock for us continuously. It shows time for us. So for that, I use a date object. With the help of date object, I am going to make it. But this I need to invoke from the command prompt. I go with the new here, then create here another Java project. So this is the project name is digital clock. I'm trying to create here some clock called as digital clock. Finish it. So this program I'm going to close. Now let me create here some digital clock. It's a class. Then here class name is going to be clock. Okay, this contains here a main method. This contains a main method. So here I just want to run a clock. So continuously I have to show the clock. Therefore here I write some loop I am going to be using here. I use something like while loop here, while true, I write like this. And inside, what is while exactly we discuss later on, but here I am using some loop. So on the top I take like this date dt. Okay, date dt I use here, but for using date I can use here fully qualified name. Here import date java util, on the top this is coming for us. In the same way we use here import java dot text dot star input. So this can give us simple date format. On the top we put like this here simple date format. It is simple date format SFD. This is here new simple date format. Followed by here, I want to go only with the clock. I don't want to use any day part or month part or year part. I just want to do with the hours, minutes and seconds. So like this, I can make a format. Now while true, I should be printing here. Here it is system dot, then out dot format. Sorry, print. I don't use println, I use print because in the same line I want to be. With println, it goes into next line. With print statement, the cursor remains in the same line. So therefore, that way I use sfd dot format. sfd dot, I use here format, then dt I want to use. But there is no dt, this may give error. So therefore, here write dt equal to, here it is new date. We should create a date object like this. Now it is going to be printing that. So after it prints here, we need to wait for some time. Therefore, here we write thread dot, I can use sleep. So thread dot sleep, it can wait for 1000 milliseconds. But this can throw exception. So in such cases, on the top we write throws exception. Like this, when we put, there is no problem with this. We write here thread dot sleep 1000. So up to 1000 milliseconds, it's going to be waiting. Now after that, what I do, I write like this, system dot, then again out dot print. So this time I want to use backspace number of times. How many times? 6 times I would like to use it. 8 times. I put /b, then again /b, again /b here, /b 4 times, then 5 times, then 6th time, 7th time and 8th time. Like this, I am trying to use here the backspace. /b is nothing but backspace. So how many times I used? 8 times. When you print it, it's printing hours, minutes and seconds. After 1 second, what should happen? They should be erased in the backward direction. So what I use here? /b. Then again on the top of that, we need to write again, which one? The new date and time. So like this is going to be a clock for us. This creates for us a digital clock. When you run here, it's not going to be proper. When you run here, okay. So where I am exactly? Okay, it's part of clock. Fine. Now just try to run this. It prints here, but what is happening? It can't print the same line. So this is not the right way. Go to command prompt. From command prompt we can do it. So it is cmd. Then we go to the D drive. In the D, let us go with your name. There is a name with your, okay, so it is CD Suresh we have, followed by here. What is the project name? It is here digital clock. CD, then we write digital clock. Okay, here I just type like this. I can get, one is bin folder, other one is src folder. In the src folder we have source code. In the bin folder we have actually the Java bytecode file. Go to cd bin, then in the bin folder try to look. We have here a class called as clock. Therefore run now Java followed by clock. Now press enter key. What's happening now? You get a clock. 9:45, 56, 57. Continuously you can see the clock. It is ticking. Okay, so this is nothing but a digital clock we created. It's showing you the clock. So with simple code we have written it. Let me close it. To close this one we need to use Control C. Now I have come to again command prompt there. The code is exactly, I created first of all a date reference variable. Then I created here simple date format SFD equal to new simple date format HHMMSS. HH stands for hours, MM stands for minutes, SS stands for seconds. Like this. While true, the loop is going to be running forever. Here I have written dt equal to new date. I create a new date object that can give you current date and time. Then after that I print here system.out.print sfd.format dt. I am not writing println. So when I write println, print header moves into next line. But here I am just writing print. Because of that, what is happening? The print header remains in the same line. When I use backspace here, it goes in the backward direction, erases the earlier typed characters. Then I wait for here 1000 milliseconds. That means for 1 second. For 1 second we wait there. Then after that, this is going to be resuming. As soon as it resumes the thread, what happens here? It's going to erase in the backward direction. Then after that, it picks here new date. It's going to pick a new date. Then the new date will be printed. So like this program is going to be working. So here we are showing a digital clock. This is basically a digital clock program.